at what his team noticed on a camera that night.
Here you see this individual. He actually has a weapon in his waistband, and the one behind him has one too.
So they relayed that information to patrol officers.
They see the officers coming, and then at some point they're going to walk back towards the vehicle that they're in.
You then see blue lights fill the parking lot at Peabody and Rufus Thomas.
The squad cars come, one guy takes off
Towards Beale.
What do we have on Beale Street? Entertainment District unit officers. So he runs into a swarm of officers and they're chasing him.
And the cameras followed the chaos too. This angle shows the guy right there in the middle of your screen booking it towards the metal barricades. He can't quite clear it though. He falls, and like his buddies, officers detain him too.
The officers are checking the actual vehicles and they realize there are guns and there are drugs.
That's right. WREG investigators uncovered the court records stating officers found multiple guns in plain view just sitting in their car. They also found marijuana, a scale, and a pistol with 11 rounds in the magazine underneath the passenger seat. They say they also found 2 Glocks, both equipped with an autosear, which is a machine gun conversion device. It's highly illegal.
Listen, I said it earlier, and I agree with Donald Trump and the Trump administration when they say that they gonna go to Memphis instead of going to Chicago. I agree. Although Chicago people dying every weekend, your mayor and your governor don't give a flying flip about you. They not willing to work with the federal government to save your children's lives. They not willing to work with the federal government to really deport illegal aliens and make your life better. And then you agree with them and you come out and you defend them. And people told me when I was talking to them the other day about it, they was like, well, those are paid protesters. No, that's fine that they was paid protesters. I said in my earlier video that people refuse to go out and protest against the paid protesters. You accept the treatment that you get from those politicians, so you should stay in the muck and mire that you're in. And I'm predicting again that Chicago's going to get rapidly worse. And when the juxtapositions hit, the first one was D.C. It was easy for people to like, oh, it's Washington, D.C., and, you know, the president's there. And watch when Memphis gets straightened out. It's going to take about 3 or 4 of these cities to get straightened out. And then people to start talking about, yeah, man, you know, everything is safe here in Memphis. We can go to Beale Street. We could do this. We could bada bing, bada boom, right? When it get to that point, people in Chicago are going to start saying, man, we want Trump and them to come here. And they really going to mean it. They really going to mean it. And they're going to be willing to go out and protest against the people who are trying to keep them in bondage, against their pharaoh, whose name is Brandon Johnson. And the amazing thing to me about black people when it pertains to crime is when you hear them say, the white man is racist, the white man is the devil, the white man is evil, but your governor is an overweight, 12 pancake eating. I have some fat on me, but I ain't nowhere near as fat as Governor Pritzker. Overweight, 12 pancake eating mother humper that says that there is no crime while your children are being murdered in the streets. And that white man right there is not a problem to you. That white man right there is not a problem, but it's the orange man that's a problem. Okay, fine. Very well then.
Well, new tonight, we're getting more insight into a shooting at a McDonald's in Memphis Sunday afternoon. We were there as chaos erupted at this crime scene off Winchester in the Hickory Hill neighborhood after a 17-year-old was shot. Here's WREG's Shay Arthur with what we know in the case.
It's back to business as usual at this Hickory Hill McDonald's off Winchester. Employees inside aren't speaking about the shooting Sunday afternoon, but witnesses and police records indicate the shooting hits close to home, with the victim being an employee, a 17-year-old boy who was injured outside of the fast food restaurant. But tonight, there's even more questions. While we were on scene for this incident yesterday afternoon, our cameras were rolling as we watched MPD officers chase a man from the crime scene at McDonald's, later tackling him at a nearby park. We were also there when a different man was put into the back of a squad car.
Well, new tonight, we're getting more insight into a shooting at a McDonald's in Memphis. So
what you're trying to tell me is while they're investigating the murder at a McDonald's, they make 2 more arrests while they're investigating the murder at McDonald's. Yeah, Memphis. Donald needs to go to Memphis. And this is what he's saying. He's saying he's going to Memphis. And I want to be clear with you. I think it's a fantastic idea that the president of the United States is going to send a National Guard into Memphis. He needs to send them into New Orleans. He needs to send them into Houston. He damn sure need to send them into Jackson, Mississippi, and clean up the crime. And I know it's going to increase the number of engagements that young black men, YNs, have with police. But the problem is the YNs don't have enough engagements with police. The YNs think they run the town. They think they run the city. And it's the perfect time to do it because there's a drought out here in these streets. Because the product ain't getting to them no more. That's why they're becoming more and more violent. It's why they need to make this push right now. Because as they're cutting off the drugs that's coming from Venezuela and across the border, these boys out here starving. Yeah. But you can't explain that to a white liberal woman because she going to say, oh, the National Guard don't need to go into the neighborhood, not knowing that there are violent drug wars breaking off everywhere around America. But she don't know that. All she knows is how to feed her dog, how to feed her cat, how to cook them a meal in the skillet because she doesn't have kids, and saute the chicken and saute the vegetables because she wants her dog to be healthy. And when her husband comes home, boss him around and steal baseballs from little kids. That's all she knows.
I think maybe I'll be the first to say it right now again. We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
Deeply troubled. And the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy. And the governor, Tennessee, the governor is happy. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington. I would have preferred going to Chicago. I had a man in the head of a big railroad. They're doing a merger, and he wanted to come see me and all that stuff. And I asked him, because, it's one of the largest train companies, maybe the largest, so you can figure out who it is. Okay, Union Pacific. And he was in my office, and he started off 45 years ago with the railroad. It's such a great story. Sir, I'm a railroader. That's the kind of guy that should ride it, as opposed to a Wall Street guy that destroys the railroad, but he's good financially, right? And he was a very impressive guy. And I said, so what do you think? Where should we go next as a city? Because we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do a few at a time. But we're going to straighten out the crime in these cities. He said, sir, Memphis would be good because he's on the board of FedEx. He said, when I walk 1 block to my hotel, they won't allow me to do it. They put me in an armored vehicle with bulletproof glass to take me 1 block. He said, it's so terrible. I said, let me ask you a question. So we're going to Memphis. I'm just announcing that now, and we'll straighten that out.
National Guard?
The National Guard and anybody else we need. And by the way, we'll bring in the military, too, if we need it. But
They cut him off. The point I'm making is it's a great thing that he's bringing the National Guard and whatever he needs into Memphis. And we're going to see the black community in Memphis, the overall community in Memphis, benefit from this move and this maneuver. And remember, the Democrats were saying, oh, there's red states with high crime. And why don't they start with the red states with the high crime? Okay. So you're going to the Democrat-run cities inside of red states. The fact of the matter is every state is red. That's just the truth of the matter. When you look at the map, there's just blue cities and predominantly seas of red areas. And that's the honest to God truth. When you look at the map of the United States of America, Texas is completely red, except for Houston, Austin, and Dallas are blue. Louisiana is completely red, except for New Orleans and Shreveport. And Baton Rouge are blue. But everything else is red. Every other county is Republican. And that's what it boils down to. The issue is the Democrat-run cities and the crime and the Democratic leadership. And then when you go and scan the news and you look all over the place and you see that mayors and city council people in these areas get indicted left and right. I mean, indicted left and right. Drug smuggling charges, corruption charges, payroll fraud. It's insane what is going on inside of these blue cities. All the while all this is happening, it's murder, kill, shoot, death. And generations of people are being killed and murdered and bled out in the streets. In the meanwhile, NGOs and nonprofits go out and march in the street and say, no, you need to turn on our funding so we can get our money. Because that is the NGO industrial complex. You've heard of military industrial complex. The damn nonprofit organizations industrial complex. Yeah, that's how it works. Bruh. And as these NGOs and their little subsidiaries go down, you're going to find that these cities finally become free, because all the money that's supposed to be funneled into the cities, funneled into the neighborhoods, actually will go into the neighborhoods. All of money that's supposed to go into programs won't go into administrative fees and actually go into the streets and help the community. That's the problem. How do I know? I've sat on several nonprofits. Several. And a huge portion of the proceeds that come in go to administrative fees and administrative costs, which ends up being salaries. One of them I sat on the board was fantastic. First Tee Golf program was awesome. It was amazing. The money went to help the kids. It was amazing. Anyway, I'm out of here. The one and only James Williams, Dark Waters. Deuces.